Hey, what's poppin', YouTubers? What's going on, everybody? Everybody, what is good? Yeah. Anyhow, I just finished doing a video right now as we speak, and I'm actually right now in the mix of going through stuff. I just had to do a live video. This video is just based. It's not really about the games and stuff. I decided to do a video because I have my own thoughts on what I think about this political thing. This morning, on the way going to the Meadowlands Flea Market to sell, I ran into a nice lady, nice black sister, definitely a senior to me. Like as far like she wasn't old, but you know what I'm saying, she got a couple of years over me. Her and her husband. Her husband was more. He was just conservative. He didn't respond or say anything. We were just talking about, I forgot, we were on the line talking about stuff, and then there's one guy in front of me. He was a little angry because the Dunkin' Donuts didn't have change. There's a national shortage of change. What I personally think is, I think a lot of banks and a lot of people should give you an extra couple of dollars for your change, being that there's a so-called shortage. And on top of that, why is there a shortage? Has anybody ever asked or wondered why there's a shortage in the U.S.? Like, what's going on with this metal? I mean, are they using this stuff to make weapons or make stuff? Why all of a sudden? I mean, the economy and everything's been open for months now. A lot of places are closing down. You got Cheesecake Factory, they're closing down. A lot of places. I'm a conspiracy theorist. I mean, I really don't like to consider myself a conspiracy theorist, but people consider people like me and others who think freely conspiracy theorists. Now, I'm smart enough to know that it was the Republicans that freed the slaves, not the Democrats. For a lot of years, everybody think the Democrats are their friends because, a lot of false nonsense and stuff from like not the Bush, the Clinton administration. Everybody think the Clinton people and stuff are their friends. One thing I have to say about us people of color, all minorities, especially black folks, and I'm not gonna say like over 400 years of the craziness we went through. I just think a lot of black people want a black person in office just because of his color. Now I do understand that Barack is charisma. He has a lot of charisma, and I'm not saying he wasn't a bad. I mean, he was a bad president. He had a lot of stuff he had to fix that Bush administration really did a number on. I give him that, but there's a lot of things that he's done in office that I don't agree with. But then again, there's a lot of things my kids and my wife do that I don't agree with, and vice versa. It doesn't mean that you hate the person, but I do always remember hearing a lot of craziness about Joe Biden. About a lot of people don't respect him in office, and there's a lot of things that him and Obama done stammered over, and a lot of people don't agree with a lot of his tactics and craziness and other stuff. I do think a president. I mean, like back in the day, even Trump wouldn't have got elected in office due to the fact that his wife posed nude. I mean, those were a lot of what I'm saying. Those are a lot of things for a president. Like back in the day, stuff like that. All that stuff was a no-no. Different times. But come on, man. This guy's son is a cokehead. Let me tell you something about drug addicts, alcoholics. Once a fiend, once a cokehead, once a crackhead, once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic. You can always go off the bagging. You can always go off the wagon. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of them, it's very hard for a lot of people. And it's like, this dude, come on, man. Like, you were ex-military person. No. Was he in the military? The brother that passed away. I don't remember. But anyway, you're getting paid all this money from the same people that supposedly had started this virus. Now, I have my own thoughts and stuff on that too. But I do have to say, Trump being in office didn't affect me as much as, it affected everybody equally as far as what's been going on for 2020. But, I know a lot of people have been killed by cops, but a lot of people have been killed by cops while Obama was in office too. So a lot of people always say, oh, Trump is racist, this, that, and the third. I don't know if he's an undercover racist or not. I know a lot of people are racist. A lot of races are racist toward each other and stereotypical and stuff like that. But I do know that there are some things that Trump has said about certain this, certain that. But unfortunately, a lot of stuff he did say is true, and a lot of things he's saying is off the beaten path and doesn't make sense too. I give it on both sides. But I do know that when a lot of people of color couldn't even get into, unless you worked there, a lot of people couldn't get into what do you call that? Golf courses. A lot of Caucasians did not want black people. They used to make jokes that black people don't like walking on green; they like eating it, which is ironic considering that black people's soul food cuisine is basically the cuisine that we inherited due to the fact that we had to eat the slop and whatever the slave masters gave. You know what I'm saying? So technically, that cuisine is really theirs, not ours. Our stuff was more Caribbean type, seafoods and stuff like. Who knows what our cuisine was? Because all parts of Africa got different cuisines, but I do know that when Mike Tyson got caught up in that rape charge, I still know that he didn't rape Desiree Washington or whatever that piece of crap whore's fucking name is. This is a man that had all types of women throwing themselves at him. Why would he need that smelly piece of half ugly crap anyway? You know what I'm saying? I just think what messed up with Mike Tyson was was the whole. I think the interview with Robin Williams shocked and opened up a lot of stuff for people because you can't tell me that she didn't do Robin Williams. Come on, man, she looked like a piece of work. You couldn't tell me that she didn't do Brad Pitt. I don't care what nobody say. Brad Pitt can deny it. He was I think a Calvin Klein model or something like that back then. I have my own thoughts on a lot of stuff, but I knew even back then that Mike Tyson did not rape that girl. I mean, she probably just planned it and stuff like that and waited, let him do what he did, and then decided that, now she got physical and DNA proof that they had intercourse, and she probably used that to her advantage. And him being a big black angry guy back then, they just used that, and he got caught up in stuff because Mike Tyson was on a destructive path back then. He was basically, just too much stuff. The loss of Buster Douglas and the leeching and the robbing and everything people were doing. They were taking advantage of the Brooklynite brother, and he didn't know what to do. He was a young kid, and I personally think the path of destruction was there, and I think at that time Mike Tyson gave up. He gave up. He was going through a lot of stuff. He lost he lost the only people that he really got to know, and they kept him out of trouble, kept him from being killed and killing and going to prison for long periods of time. He was a young dude that had people throwing themselves at him, the fake love, this, that, and the third. So I think a lot of that played a big thing in Tyson. And here it is. Trump was there for him. This is the only person that was vouching for him when a lot of people were trying to blacklist Mike Tyson, and a lot of people were trying to stay clear of him and stay out the path of other people because they was like, this is bad for my image. Trump was there for him. When a lot of rappers and everybody used to go to Vegas and stuff, Trump used to pay for people's hotels. He did that for Tyson. I mean, is that really a person that's racist toward people of color in this country? I just think that, like the media, I don't like the media. I think the propaganda and the media are the biggest hoax and the biggest piece of crud in this country. And he's right. They do give fake news. They do. I mean, I've been talking about this way before he got in office. So I truly understand and feel where Trump is coming from. I mean, is he rude? Is he obnoxious? He's a New Yorker. Is there a lot of things that he does and he says that kind of contradicts stuff, and he does have his own way of kind of being an a-hole? Yeah. But again, he's a New Yorker. You know what I'm saying? And let alone he's a rich guy who's a New Yorker. I don't agree with a lot of things he's done. I don't agree with a lot of things a lot of presidents done. I know the Clinton administration It's very popular because a lot of black folk, he helped a lot of black folks stay and get welfare. And I hate to say, but a lot of people of color always think, oh, I'm going to vote for this person because they're going to do something for me. We need to start sitting back and figuring out what we can do for ourselves and always wanting a handout and thinking, not to say that we don't deserve it due to what happened during slavery and we still need to get our 40 acres in the mule and why a lot of Jews and everybody run around doing what they do and have what they have and why we don't. I'm going to tell you guys why. Because we don't have unity, we don't stick together, and we're too busy blaming everybody else for our mishaps. I mean, at the end of the day, we all have to still sit there and figure out what we can do for ourselves. And, we can't always rely on people and say, oh, well, it's because I'm black. It's because I'm this. Man, listen, you got poor white trash out there, too. You got poor Hispanic trash. You got poor this. You got poor that. We as a people need to get over it. I'm not going to sit here and say that there's no racist cops out there. We all know there is. There's a lot of craziness going on right now. A lot of things Trump and his administration did. Is it questionable? Yes. I know that. We all know that. But there's a lot of things a lot of people do that's questionable. What the heck is this? Do I, trust Trump? I trust him a lot more than I trust Biden. Some of y'all may get shocked or be like, man, you crazy. Hey, man, that's why they always say, there's certain things you don't talk. And politics ain't one of them. And the reason why a lot of people don't like to talk about politics is because that's exactly what it is, politics. A lot of people don't like talking about politics. A lot of people don't like talking about religion. Because like a lot of people can't deal with, a lot of people don't know how to debate and deal with each other when it comes to that stuff. Me, on the other hand, I can deal with either. It doesn't bother me. I can sit here, respect you, and respect your decision, and still have my own. A lot of people can't do that. And again, I think Trump is one of the lesser of two evils. He's been in there for 4 years, and I haven't really personally been affected. I know people that passed away. My wife lost a cousin due to COVID. Is it really the China virus, or is this something that the U.S. helped them develop and then they use them as a scapegoat? I can kind of vouch for that and say maybe, because at the end of the day, they do the same thing with military personnel. But I do know that Trump is for law enforcement. I love police. I hate crooked cops. You know what I'm saying? I hate crooked police because there's a lot of good cops out there. I have cops in my family. Again, there are a lot of good cops out there. And, regardless of what color they are. And, a lot of cops are intimidated. They're raised and they're taught and they're trained to just, look at most minorities as the enemies. And the media helps play a big part of why a lot of police officers are terrified of people of color. And it's not just them, it's family. Their families teach them, oh, these blacks are no good and da-da-da-da-da. And half of that, again, is due to, lack of understanding and lack of wanting to get to know people. Because, unfortunately, a lot of cops, even a lot of them do underhanded stuff, and they follow and they drive around and pull over a lot of blacks and a lot of minorities, and a lot of this stuff is not really protocol, but not probable cause, but they make it probable cause because at the end of the day, it's your word against theirs. And we all know that police officers lie because, not only are they trained to do so, but at the same time, a lot of them do lie to keep, for certain things and whatnot. And, the system is, even if they're lying, the system, even if there's tapes and stuff, the system's still going to try to find a way to hold you responsible for a police officer's actions. Because the DA offices, you guys got to remember one thing: the DA's office, the police work for the DA's office. The DA prosecutes you. The district attorney, they prosecute. They give the police power. The city give them power, and the DA's office is the city. They are the government. That's why it always says people, the people versus so and so or whatnot. Even in a traffic violation, because even if the police officer is lying and they're wrong, even if you go for a traffic ticket, 9 out of 10, they know that most people will pay the ticket just because they can't afford to take off of work. And some people just figure that the system is rigged. So this is why we do this, and this is why we do that, and this is why a lot of people they just pay, even if they get caught up in weed or whatever, whether it's a criminal misconduct and or even if it's a traffic infraction at a traffic court. They set things up the way they do, and they keep things the way they do. They keep people from being able to use phones in places, and you're not a convicted felon, but they do this to to deter you from fighting your case. They don't want you to fight your case. They don't want, and this is why they make sure that they have lawyers that charge an arm and a leg for just regular, infractions, and they do this spitefully because they know that 9 out of 10, most people just say, you know what, the hell with it. I'm just going to be passive and pay a ticket because I don't want to sit up in a courtroom with a whole bunch of angry cops and dealing with a judge, and I can't make phone calls, and I got better things to do than to sit in the courtroom just to try to save a couple of dollars. And, it's sad that we think like that, but unfortunately the system is set up to be like that. So whenever you hear Trump, using terms like fake news, this, that, and the third, he's right on the money. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say he's a saint. Not one person up here watching, include myself, is a saint. We all have inner demons, and we all done things, whether we got caught for or not, that are impractical and not right. Every one of us. Why? Because we're not angels. There's no such thing as that, especially when they come across humans. You know what I'm saying? The one thing I like about him is, Trump's flaws, but the man is too arrogant to sit there and deal with a lot of BS. This is a millionaire who made his money on he did a lot. He did just like anybody else, a lot of cutthroat deals. Everybody up here watching, everybody up here done did some cutthroat stuff. Everybody, you might not got caught for it, but I'm telling the truth, and that God knows that I'm telling the truth. Because nobody up here is an angel. Every night, what I'm saying? I'm not gonna sit here and say that everybody's hardened criminals and stuff, but like even my cousin Russell, he's another one. He's smart. Me and him, we just have our own views and stuff. And a lot of people look at us like we're crazy. Like, yo, how can you guys vote for this guy? How can you be about Scooby this and that? And I'm like, yo, you gotta look at the bigger picture. Not everybody's mad at Lil Wayne. They're mad at Ice Cube. I mean, you gotta look at the picture behind it. When Norman David Dinkins was in office back in the late 80s in New York City, he was the first, and to this day, still the only black mayor. I mean, Bill de Blasio, people say that he's black. Why? Because he married a black woman, he got half black kids. That don't make you black. Yes, he's still a white man. You know what I'm saying? He married a black woman, and he got half black kids. But, a lot of blacks voted for him because of that. And he got in because a lot of minorities are ignorant. We run around hating each other and killing ourselves and killing each other for skin color, but at the same time, it's okay to support another man of color or somebody that's married to a person of color just because a person of color. I mean, we have the biggest oxymorons and hypocrite bullcrap that you could think of. Now, a lot of people are not going to like what I'm saying, and I don't really give a rat's a. And this is why Trump is, why he's disrespected and this, that, and the third, because this is a man that, that the media helps. And, the media didn't go after Bush like that. I mean, Bush sounded like a Neanderthal because he was, and his words is right there. What I'm saying? So he didn't need the media to play, to placate how imbecilic he was in a lot of ways. But at the same time, this is a man that there was a lot of things that went on when he was president, but a lot of people don't talk about it because his family is not only wealthy like Trump, but his family has a lot of friends up in high places in Capitol Hill. That's why that whole weapons of mass destruction thing went on. And if you notice, during 9/11 and so much other stuff, including the mass weapons of destruction, he wasn't impeached, was he? He didn't get impeached. He didn't have Pelosi and everybody else trying to get at him. Trump made enemies, and they just, they was like, yo, listen, this guy, we got him in office, we helped get him in office, but you know what? He's not playing the card that we want him to play. You know what I'm saying? So now it's like, oh, let's get at him. So now they use the media as an outlet because they run the media. They set and tell the media, and the media sends everybody on these crazy frenzies on thinking this and that and the third. And, that's why when he calls it fake news, he's telling the truth about it. He opened up and made golf courses in the Bronx and everywhere so anybody can play golf. This man hired a whole bunch of minorities, people that don't speak English, people from other countries. You know, he has people that oversee this in his hotels, this, that, and the third. You know what I mean? So I mean, you know, do I think Trump is a saint? No. Do I think he's a great president? I wouldn't say that neither. I think he's the best that we got in here as far as, you know, do I think he's better than Biden and Harris? Hell to the yeah. You know, some people may think I'm crazy or say, yo, this guy's out his mind. Like the lady I was talking about early this morning in I'm about to say Home Depot and Dunkin' Donuts. You know, we were all having a conversation because, like I said, the guy in front of us, well, in front of me, he was kind of ranting because they didn't have change. The lady asked him if he had 26. He said, no, I don't. And she said, well, I don't have change. And he said, well, what do you want me to do? And he was a little angry anyway. Older black brother too. You know, and he walked out. He said, just give my money back because he didn't have change and he couldn't understand why they didn't have change. And, you know, they were talking about the shortage and banks and this. And he said that's no excuse. I don't want to hear that. So he asked for his money back and he left. So we were just talking about, you know, change and stuff in general. I mean, nobody really talked about the guy's attitude and whatnot. I've been there a couple of times in the last couple of months where I got upset when people didn't have change, and you know, and then other places that want to give me change back, or even if I had 20 or 13 cents, you know, change coming back to me, they try to say that they didn't have it, and I did get a little upset. Like, yo, like just because you don't have change, well, figure out something, because you know, at the end of the day, that's still my money, you know, because at the end of the day, if you don't want me to short you 18 cents or this, that, and the third, then why is it okay for you to short it for me? And I've said that before. So I did understand where he was coming from. I mean, I think the way he went about it, shouting at the lady, get mad at her for something that she couldn't control, I thought that was a little imbecilic. But, you know, I did understand his anger. You know what I'm saying? So that actually triggered, as I was getting ready to leave, that triggered another conversation. And she's like, well, let's just hope that this idiot doesn't stay in office. And there was a guy, I don't know if he was Spanish or white, but he was in a line and he was just shaking his head. And, you know, I was talking to her and he was like, yeah, that this guy know what he's talking about. So me and her were talking and her husband was just like quiet and passive. You know, I guess he has his own views too, or he just didn't want to get in the middle of it. But it wasn't no disrespect or nothing like that. She voiced her opinion, I voiced mine, and it wasn't loud or nothing. Everybody was all right with it. And she was like, well, he's a racist. And I said, explain to me, as you being a black American, explain to me what Trump really said racist toward black people in this whole campaign. I said people took stuff out of context. Now, did he put a lot of these children in camps, and did his administration do that? I admit that he did do that. You know, and there's no real excuse for children suffering for this, that, and the third. So I can't really make an excuse for that, or really go into those details for something I truly don't know. I only speak on stuff that I personally really, really know and stuff. So I think a lot of that was crazy. But actually, I was going to say something, but, you know, I would say that a lot of Central and South Americans teach their children not to be around people of color. A lot of them are just as racist, if not even more racist than white folks. But that still doesn't merit, you know, these little kids suffering and being away from their parents, and then they talk about reports of sexual abuse and stuff like that in these detention centers. I believe that. I truly believe that. And I would say that, you know, there's a lot of shame on Trump's administration, but the Obama administration, with this guy being in office as a vice president, he didn't do a damn thing as a vice president. This guy was running around ranting and doing and talking crazy, and he had a lot of people in their own. I'm wiping stuff down. Every time I get stuff from flea markets or whatever, I wipe everything down, especially if I'm gonna put it in my personal collection. You know, like this guy was ranting and stuff like that, and like I said, you know, we got people always talking about, oh, Republicans this, that, and the third, and I'm like, yeah, but at the end of the day, regardless of what you say and what you think, you know, Republicans are the ones, not Democrats. Republicans are the ones that freed the slaves. And you know, somebody asked me, do I agree with them taking down a lot of these statues? I mean, it is part of American history, and unfortunately, a big part of American history with change and stuff were the fact that people of color was slaves. So do I agree? I don't think knocking down statues and this, that, and the third is not only do I think that sends a messed up message, but I don't really see how that's supposed to help. Walk around having streets, with yellow stuff saying Black Lives Matter movement and knocking down statues and stuff. I don't see how that's gonna help change this country. I think patience, understanding of everybody equally is the only thing that's gonna tear down the hatred in this country. People need to start banding together, and we all need to realize that us as a people together can help get rid of all this, because at the end of the day, history always going to repeat itself when it's not when it's not corrected. And my case in point, all these wars, all this back and forth, there's a lot of things that Trump says about wars overseas and us policing other countries and all this other stuff. I do think that other countries should handle their own stuff, and I think this country needs to stop being nosy and worry about what other countries are doing. And that's what every administration is doing or done. And there's a lot of things that he says. He supports military, he supports police, and I'm always pro police. Everybody, I don't care how you feel about cops and how much y'all all hate cops and this, that, and the third right now. You can't sit here and say all cops are bad. And at the end of the day, if something happens, somebody break into your house, you are gonna pray, and the first thing you're gonna do is call 911. Everybody's gonna do it. You need, you need people to protect your mom and your grandmother. You need laws to be out there. If you defund the police departments, what's gonna happen when your wife, your mom, your child, or your children, anybody outside of you, even including you, what are you gonna do? How are you gonna be able to protect yourself if this guy take away your weapons and if they try to defund? I don't think defunding police is really the smart thing to do. I love local law enforcement. I love the good ones. I love people that come out there to do their job to really make a difference. Not the troublemakers or the racist people who just they're having a bad day because their wife or their girlfriend said no, or they met a girl, or when they was a kid growing up, some black or Latino dudes stole their girlfriends, or they just grow up hating people of color or black men for some reason that they grew up with, and they just feel a certain way, and now they got power, and they just want to be assholes. Because you have a lot of cops who are like that with other whites. You know what I'm saying? It's like that. And believe it or not, statistics prove that you do have just as much, if not even more, whites and Hispanics and Asians who get killed by police than just as much as blacks. It's just that a lot of stuff get caught a lot more with blacks because of social media, and every time there's an issue with cops, or even in a restaurant or something like that, people are real quick to go to their phone because everybody walks around with a video camera on their phone now. So that's the first thing they do. Sometimes, if nothing happens, they don't show the video. Sometimes if stuff do happen, they show it, and even if stuff don't happen, they still show. It all varies, man. So people ask me, and I'll proudly come out and say, I already did my stuff. Who I voted for? I voted for Trump. A lot of blacks, a lot of us hating on Ice Cube and now Lil Wayne, and you even got the media who want, people used to always talk crap about Lil Wayne, this, that, and the third, and niggas with attitudes. And now all of a sudden you got somebody like Ice Cube. Now support. It's not really about supporting. It's about sometimes you have to pick your side, pick and choose. And sometimes if you have to pick the lesser of two evils, and me and a lady in there, she was saying that, and I said, well, it's all about picking the lesser of two evils. Oh, he's racist. I said, what have you ever heard him come out his mouth and say something racist directly about people of color, about blacks or black Americans in this country? I said, this is a man that built and opened up golf courses for minorities to be able to go in and play golf. He had programs for inner city kids to learn how to play golf and stuff like that. He hired more minority workers in his golf clubs and paid them well. I mean, he's a big tycoon. You can't expect him to run around being extra nice. I mean, hell, Michael Jordan isn't the nicest guy to meet in real life. And he's an icon. People love Jordan. They love wearing his sneakers. He's the number one selling sneaker for the last fucking 30-something years. But he's not the nicest person in the world, but y'all not sitting here messing with him. LeBron James get a lot of backlash, and this man's done more for people of color and minorities and people going to college, and he's the reason why a lot of people have degrees and getting degrees now, and they don't owe student loans and stuff. And he's done more, but because, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's amazing how people pick the media and everybody help to pick who they want or who they're told to pick. You know what I'm saying? So thank you for that thumbs up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, like people need to get their stuff together, man. Like people of color, like we're real quick. Oh, I'm voting for Obama because he's black. He got to help me with food stamps, help me with this. Us as a people, we need to stop this. We need to band together as people, period. But especially black folks, man. I love my black people, man. I love black folks and I hate niggas all day. And that just means anybody who's lazy and ignorant. It doesn't mean a color of person. If ever you hear me talk disrespectful about people that share my skin color, you hear me use the word jiggable. You know what I'm saying? That's my terminology of calling another nigga, another black person a nigga. As in that particular individual. Like, look at how this fucking jiggable acting. Like, for instance, when I sit there and I watch YouTube videos of jiggables running around doing videos of people getting beat up, instead of helping, like, we need to come together and start rectifying our situation and stop hating on the Jews because they have unity. That's the problem we have as a people. We're too quick to point blame on everybody but ourselves. At the end of the day, slavery was 400 and something years. You're always going to deal with that kind of shit here. If the Ukrainians can do it, what Russians did. If the Croatians can do it, what the Russians and English do. If the Irish can do it, what the English done. Like, everybody need to get off this still slavery shit. I know that shit still happens and racism is in this country and police departments and fire departments and stuff are racist toward people of color. But if we don't have a coalition to start helping each other, because one thing black folks do, we do as black people, is we have so much envy and at the same time too much pride. Pride when we shouldn't have it and envy when we always have it. And that's the problem we have as a people, and why we're always going backward. Like, for instance, prime example. I go into a grocery store or a Spanish restaurant. Some of them might not like black folks, but the ones I go to a couple of them that are owned by Mexicans, Mexican workers, and they treat me cool. They're nice. It's all about how you conduct yourself. It's not even about how you dress half the time. It's all about your aura. You know what I'm saying? What you feed off. And I go, and the Spanish food, delicious food. They give you a nice amount, even if they don't like you or they don't understand English that much. They serve you with a smile. You get good quality food for a very, very cheap price. $7 to $9 for a nice big plate of food, probably with something to drink. You go to these West Indian restaurants. They don't like you because you're a Yankee, you're American. They always walk around with this fucking attitude, like they walking up, like they're working, and they all happen to be a lot of women. Like they walking with a spiked dildo shoved up their backside and up their vagina, and they walk around all day like if you need them. And a lot of places like that. You go to a lot of customers. You know how many times I go to like for instance. Let me finish this first. And a lot of West Indian restaurants, they want to suck their teeth. They get mad at you because what can I help you with? But you let a light-skinned Hispanic or white person walk in there. They could be disrespectful, run around asking for this, that, and third, and they'll treat them cool. Even if they agitated, they won't show it. You come up in there, what you want, nigga? Or what you want, Yankee? You go to a lot of soul food restaurants. Same freaking thing. Food is expensive. Some of the quality kind of sucks. You got to fight for this and that. They want to give you a large oxtail and then give you 4 pieces, or then you got to fight for a 5th piece. And then they tell about this, that, and third, and they charge you like $20 for fucking 4 pieces of this and that. You go to, you know what I'm saying, if they serving oxtails in a Spanish restaurant, most of you paying is $9. You get seafood, you might pay $11 or $10, but it's delicious. So you're getting better, you know what I'm saying? It just goes to show. You go to like an Italian restaurant or something, it's just a different vibe. But us as black folks, just too much anger, hatred, and oh yeah, the attitude. And then a lot of young black people they don't want to hire me because I'm black. Yeah, they don't want to hire a lot of niggas because they black, because they're like, yo, a lot of y'all motherfuckers don't like to work. Y'all all come late. You walk around like if somebody did something to you, and you treat my customers like shit. Like, I don't need to pay you to have my people, come and complaining to me because you on the phone and you got an attitude. Even if you go to a lot of soul food restaurants, a lot of places in Brooklyn, anywhere, you see a lot of Mexicans who doing the work that black people don't want to do because they think they're too good for it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, and us as a people, we're never gonna get nowhere because black people were ignorant. We're straight ignorant. A lot of us are stupid, and we want to follow the trend. And then we sitting here, oh, you're racist, oh, you don't like this, and but at the same time, we kill each other. You got people, and one thing I could say, I don't care. The more religious a person is, I don't fucking care if you read the Torah, the Quran, the Bible. I don't care if you're Buddhist, if you believe in Shiva, whatever. The more a person is religious, the more hypocritical, nasty, and disrespectful, and arrogant, and proud that they are. You got people that sit up in church for years, and they'll sit there and talk about Sister Betty and her kids and her husband, this and that third. Then you got a lot of women who run up in church who are they need spiritual cleansing and spiritual motivation, and at the same time, you got the pastors, the deacons, and people of the clergy who are shoving their male sexual parts down these women's throats. You know what I'm saying? And then you got pastors. It's disgusting. And then they run around. Oh, the Lord said this, and the Lord said that. The Lord said if you hit him, don't hit him with a baseball bat, and don't do that. But then you got all these old folks. Sunday morning, you know what I'm saying? 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. You see 60 to like 80-something-year-old women and men standing at bus stops, waiting for buses early in the morning just to go to church. And these churches have vans and other stuff, but they're all sitting in the backyard somewhere where you're paying for, you know what I'm saying, and they ask you're giving them money that they don't need, but at the same time, they'll bring those vans out when there's a fundraiser or when there's money going back into the church. Was really going into the pastors and the clergy's pockets. They're the biggest cons out there, man. All that religious shit is bullshit to me. Some of y'all may not like this. You believe what you want. But you can't sit here. I mean, I just don't believe in the Bible. I don't believe in the Torah. I don't believe in the Quran. I don't need to believe in that bullshit to know that killing my mother or trying to rape my daughter is wrong. That's just common sense. That's sickness. You don't need to believe in that. Do I believe in it? Do I believe in there's a higher being? Yes. Do I believe that there's an afterlife? I don't know. I never met somebody who came back and said, yeah, there's an afterlife. Yo, Jesus said chill. I never met somebody who came back and said, yo, death sucks or there's something after death. There may not be shit. This is it. This may be it. You're dead, and that's it. Not only do you become a distant memory here, but then there's nothingness. Who knows? I don't know, but I just know that things on this earth that's written by man is bullshit. I know enough, and I'm smart enough to be my own person. That's the reason why, even up here on YouTube, I'm not liked as much as I should be. I should be in a million. I should have millions of views. I should have millions of comments. I shouldn't be nowhere in the teens or the single digits. And it's all because a lot of morons out here, all because for the last 10 or so years, I've been talking about Hot Toys and Sideshow, and then everybody runs around and poison my name and stuff. Now all of a sudden, I'm kind of like blacklisted up here on YouTube, and I'm one of the original best pioneers up here on YouTube. Period. There's no reason why I should. Like I said, it's ridiculous. And then the funny hypocritical thing, just like how Trump calls it fake news, is the fact that 90% of the 1/6 scale community and statue community can talk whatever the hell they want to talk, but at the same time, a lot of these same people got rid of all their stuff with the companies I've been talking about for the last couple of years. Then you got other people who people credit them for saying things I said 10 years ago. I mean, I don't like to be a he say, she say person, but I call shit for what it is. And like I said, there's a lot of reasons why I understand where Trump's coming from. I mean, he can't control everything that happens in his whatchamacallit, and he probably does control a lot of stuff that's happening too. But a lot of people always follow other people, and it's like when me and my cousin tell people, yo, show me a video where Trump is really going at and disrespecting people of color, like blacks in this country. People don't have nothing to say. They can't really say because he didn't say. I mean, he speaks the truth when it comes to, you got to support law enforcement. You can't defund the goddamn police departments. How many niggas and how many? Well, let me rephrase that. How many people of color out there who are correction officers and police officers? Imagine your cousin, your son, your brother, your future. You know what I'm saying? Your child may grow up when they become a cop. What's gonna happen to them when they gotta pay bills, and what's gonna happen to you when 911? You know, when there's no 911 or nobody's coming to your aid to help you. Then what? Y'all be the first, then every time something happens, tomorrow you get locked. I mean, today you got locked up. And it's like, oh, I hate police. Fuck them. And then next week, somebody's putting their foot up your ass or breaking into your house or breaking into your car. First thing you're going to do, 911, can I help you? Yeah, somebody's breaking into my car. So it's like, it's like, come on now. Come on. And like I said, I love police. I am pro police. I hate crooked cops. And I hate when I see YouTube and I see a lot of these cops getting away with shit. I also think that this country and the government in this country needs to also start, publicly showing. That's the one thing I agree with. I think they should start publicly showing police disciplinary actions. I think the public should see what happens to police that do things. They should make it public. And I think if they make it public, it'll be less shit going on. You wouldn't have kids running up to police cars and shooting like unaware police officers in vehicles, because cops do have a dangerous job. But at the end of the day, nobody puts a gun to your head and say, "Hey, do this job." You know what I'm saying? And I hate when people call police officers, military personnel, EMS workers, doctors, and even firefighters. I hate when people call them heroes. Some of y'all, that's the one thing that I may get a lot of negative attention with, because at the end of the day, you're doing exactly what you're paid to do. So stop calling them heroes, man. Oh, they're heroes. Why are they heroes? Because they're getting paid to do exactly what their job is entitled. Oh, well, he ran into a burning building. Hello, you get a pinch, you get a paycheck, and you're employed by the city to be a firefighter. It's your duty and your job to run into a fucking blazing building. I'm sorry. If you're a police officer and you do a routine traffic stop, or you decide to use bullshit ass probable cause to pull somebody over because you're bored and the person just seemed suspicious to you, so now all of a sudden you want to do something, and now you figure your life is in danger or it's a dangerous job. You knew it was a dangerous job while you were in a police academy, before you even start reading a book and learning common sense and learning penal code and shit. You knew it was a dangerous job. If you gotta sit there and you gotta run to an active shootout, you're not, saying, yeah, it is brave, but you're not a hero. You're doing exactly what you're paid to do. If you are, and you take an oath as a U.S. as a U.S. soldier, and you could be deployed and you go to other countries, come on, you're using the same U.S. tactics in another country. In a way, if it was the other way around, it'd be called terrorism. I'll say it again. If it was the other way around, it'd be called terrorism. What gives America the right to go to other countries and feel you can do what the fuck you want to do and try to police them with our tactics? That's foreign, not domestic. Why the fuck do you think that's not terrorism? If somebody come here and try to do that, oh, FBI be all up their ass. Why? Because, come on, man. Like, this country is hypocritical. It is hypocritical. And it's like, regardless of what you guys say or think, you may hate me for it, but at the end of the day, everything I've been saying up here, everything I always spit is straight, true facts. And the reason why I'm disliked a lot, because I speak straight facts, and, the truth hurts. And regardless of what people say and how they feel, they're like, damn, at the end of the day, the nigga's right. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's not like I support Trump. It's not like I don't support him. It's like, he's the lesser of two evils. He's been in office for 4 years, right? And I'm still on this earth. My family hasn't personally been affected. Everybody's family been affected. Everybody in the world's been affected by the COVID. So that's not a personal thing to me directly that he's done. Now, this Biden and Harris, that's gonna be personal to every individual, because the dude disrespects the military. Some people clap, you idiots. He's got a real sick humor, and I don't really think that's humor. I mean, this guy, and it's like, if he gets in office, Harris is gonna really be running the show. Everybody knows that. If they were smart, they should have had Obama run. They should have had Obama, run for vice president and had him run for president. Because at the end of the day, you can still get in. That's what they should have did. Not saying it would have been better, but it would have been better. You know, how you gonna do with a guy that his son's a dope, his son's a cokehead? Once a cokehead, always a cokehead. Once a crackhead or dope fiend, always. You know what I'm saying? Those habits are always there. You know, you gotta take every minute and every day at a time because that shit is always itching you. Alcoholism, all of it. How can you trust a guy who's taking money under the table? A guy who has no, I mean, come on, man. I'm not gonna go into, you know, we all know, and I'm like, yo, listen, that family, you know, like people can sit here and talk about the Trump family, this, that, and the third, but at the end of the day, you know, yeah, they're all born with silver spoon in their mouth, just like Trump. But guess what? Trump make his kids earn their money. They learn, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I don't know how much he makes them fight and this, that, and the third, but all I know is they all have jobs on Capitol Hill because they father. They all went through college and made something of themselves because of their father at the end of the day. So at the end of the day, the man didn't raise his kids to be whores and pieces of shit or drug users or whatever. So at the end of the day, regardless of what people think of Trump and his ex-wife, his wife now, they see, you know, at the end of the day, he still raised decent, productive members of society, regardless of what the fuck you want to think about the man. Joe Biden did too, but his son happened to decide he want to snort coke and do shit because, hey, my dad's a big man on Capitol Hill. He's in politics, so fuck it, I'm gonna do what I want to do. And you know, he happened to slip up a couple of times, and he want to snort coke because a lot of people can't deal with pressure. You know, the apple don't fall far from the tree because his father can't deal with pressure. You see how angry and all you know, I mean, come on, man. I don't want this guy. I mean, come on, man. Like, I'd rather keep this guy in office for 4 years. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, Trump did do a lot of good and decent shit. And a lot of people, oh, he want to take away this and take away. No, motherfucker, you know what I mean? Yo, listen. You got a lot of people out there on welfare and shit who can work. You can run around wearing a pair of $300 or $400 Jordans and run around smoking fucking weed and spending money on weed and selling your fucking food stamps for cash so you can buy the new pair of Jordans and buy a Xbox or a PlayStation 4 game, and your ass can go out there and work. If you can open your legs for somebody, pop out babies, and then have regular members pay taxes, you can work. If you can go out there and slide up inside some female and nut up inside her and make babies and don't want to take care of them, you can work. If you can go out there and sell weed on the side with your food stamps or your or whatever, or sell your food stamps for a couple of shit so you can buy a new t-shirt or whatever, then your ass can go to work. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? So people may not feel the same view. I mean, I'm not a Trump lover, but there's a lot of shit that he says that makes sense, and there's a lot of things he do that I agree with. There's a lot of things he do that I don't agree with. But I think the man is smart on how he does things. And like I said, if I had to pick and choose at for a president, he might. I rather stick him in, and that's exactly what I did. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is, man. I hope he stays another 4 years, and I hope he lives long enough to keep his 4 years. I mean, to be honest, I don't really care for his vice president. I don't care for Mike Pence. I just something about him I just don't like. I don't like everything. He's just, even when he goes up and does his speech, he's like a robot with no emotions. I can't explain it. I'm not a Mike Pence like. I don't like him. It's everything about him, from north, south, west, and east, left, right, up and down, all a complete circle and back around again. I just don't like Mike Pence. But Trump shouldn't suffer because I don't like him. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Am I a Trump? You know, talk about Trump's a New York nigga, man. So that, you know, there's a lot of things, you know, that he says that I don't agree with. There's a lot of things he doesn't say that I do like. The problem with us as people is we get angry and we hate the fact that, you know, the man speaks the truth. He's one of the only presidents that came in and did exactly what he said he was going to do. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, whether you hate him or like him. His mother and father were Ku Klux Klan members. Okay, so fucking what? How many of us have family members that are crackheads and dope fiends and drug dealers, but at the same time you're a cop or you're a correction officer? How many of us have got people in our household who work and bust their ass for a living, but you got fucking kleptomaniacs running around shoplifting? Stop it. It's all semantics, man. Stop. And I know some of y'all might say, oh, yeah, you're being hypocritical because, yeah, if that's the case, then why are you sitting here saying Joe Biden's son's a cokehead? I'm going to tell you why. His son took money And there's, come on, man. Cokehead took money. What's to stop them from selling secrets? This man want to stop. Or I got a nice car outside. Just like a lot of you people out there who got these Dodges and all these muscle cars and trucks and stuff, and you like your trucks. Who wants to go into a little wussy electric car? You should be fuck America. You should be able on this earth to do what you want to do, as long as it's in a positive way and it's not hurting or killing somebody. Everybody, I'm sorry, but everybody should be able to. If I want to have a gas guzzler or a car that I can put gas in and I don't have to sit there and plug it into a wall, that's my fucking prerogative as a human being on this planet. This guy want to get rid of that, which means a lot of people lose their jobs. I'm like, come on, man. Then he wants to close down. He's talking about he want to close down the country for how? You won't even know how long with him. Next thing you know, you got more Chinese moving in. And hello, don't forget, over 7 months ago, look what happened with the pandemic. My wife lost her cousin due to COVID. My cousin Russ, who I was just talking about, he's a Trump supporter too. He lost his father due to COVID. He had COVID. My boy Frank, Italian, he had COVID twice. Another guy I know, one of my lawyers that's helping me with a case right now, a lawsuit case. He had COVID. So I've personally been affected and know people that died and or had, and thank God some of them recovered from COVID. You know what I'm saying? So I have my own speculations on the country and what goes on and this, that, and the third. But like I said, if I had to pick the less of two evils, it'd be Trump. I keep repeating it. I'm being repetitive with it because it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I don't trust Joe Biden. To be honest, I don't trust Trump that much neither. But again, if I had to pick the less of two evils, I'd rather keep the person that we know and know his attributes and traits than to sneak in another guy that was an underling to a bigger persona 4 years ago. And they've been in office for 8 years. And we all know that Joe, there's a lot of shit that people didn't like. And the man he just said and try to pass impractical, dumb shit. And that's why he doesn't have the respect he have on Capitol Hill and why he's always been behind the curtain for 40-something years, for 47 years exactly. Come on, the guy's a liar. I'm not saying Trump's not, but the media play, man, I'm not going to keep being repetitive here, man. Anyway, go out and vote for who you want. All I'm saying is if you vote radical left, just keep in mind that, everybody's going to pay the consequences, including yourself. And, there's certain things can't be erased, man. Certain things can't be erased. I don't give a damn. Once you use a permanent marker, I don't care if you try to use acetone or whatever. Sometimes certain things you put on certain services, especially if it's clean and it's white and it's bright, and no matter how much you get the shit off, it's always going to be there. So keep that in mind, y'all. Everybody's got to go out and vote, man. Vote for who you want. Just make sure you vote for the right person for the right reasons. And keep in mind, everything I've been saying for almost an hour, just, it is what it is, man. Peace.